everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining the show. This is the show where comedy meets sports. We get to talk about all kinds of things sports related with comedians. And of course, you guys know these comedians have been in all kinds of things. They've been in films, film festivals, comedy commercials. They've toured the world and everything up. So first up is my man, Talent. Talent, how you doing, brother? How's everything, bro?
Fantastic, brother. It's a splendid day in the neighborhood. It's a scorcher again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We like scorchers because we get rough winters.
Yes, yeah, you got to balance off. Next up, I want to bring in my man Amir Sealy. He's also a sports connoisseur. Amir, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good. How's everybody? What's going on, T? What's going on, Frank? It's good.
Salute,
I'm out here in this, what you call it? As y'all can see, got the background going. I'm a little dressed today. I got to do some other stuff, so I'm out here really putting in that work today. But it's all good.
That's dope. That's dope. Oh, my man, Mr. Rodney Perry seems to have joined the show today too. Rodney, how's everything, brother? How's everything?
Oh, it's all good, man. I don't have to be on where I'm going to later. So, yeah.
So it's always good to hear to have you join the show today. I appreciate that. Fig is not going to be with us today, but we'll be here tomorrow. That's terrible. Let's get ready to get the show started, man. I always start things off normally with talking about the COVID report. And there was an interesting development this morning at about 5 a.m. I wanted to bring in the news and tell you guys about that. The World Athletics Director, his name is Sebastian Coe. He said, now he's the one who sits on as the head of the committee that heads up the Olympics. He said he needs convincing that the Olympics is safe, and he is going to be stressing out to the people who are pertaining, and especially the Olympics committee, that they should cancel the Olympics. They're going to have a special meeting today at 3 o'clock their time, which is actually right about now. And they're going to decide whether or not the Olympics will be officially canceled. Now, crazy thing, Talent, is there are 7,000 athletes right now, as we know, descending upon the Olympics in Tokyo. What's your thoughts on that, Talent?
Well, Frank, to be honest with you, I don't really care about how many are already in Tokyo or how many want to go. I think this is one of those situations where even the athletes will thank the committee later. Because of what it could have been, what could have been. Safety first, bro. We want these athletes to have, when you get into athletics, that becomes your profession. You want to be the best athlete for the longest period of time you can in your life. Why cut your life short?
Right.
Because to me, I'm thinking like this whole thing. I was watching a thing on a COVID and pandemic where this COVID-19 thing, they'll have a grasp on it. Technically in a 2-year span. We're already at the almost year and a half mark. So you're really looking at another 7-8 months, man. And then, you can go do all those things and start setting all those dates up that you postponed and canceled from before. But guess what? At least you're alive to do that.
Right. Talent, absolutely right. Hit all the nails in the head. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Look, man, the world is opening back up. So you telling me the world is open, but the Olympics not? That don't go together to me. And the whole concept of people dying, I get it, but people die. Okay? People died 10 years ago. They're gonna die next year. People die. I mean, and we don't get to stay here forever. So I'm not even tripping off the Olympics itself, but either the world is opening or it's not. So if y'all telling me if the Olympics is saying we're not doing that, then why the hell are any of us moving anywhere? Like, am I losing my mind? Am I the only one worried about this? Like, if are the Olympics a good indicator that the whole world is full of BS?
Amir Sealy, do you agree with Rodney Perry? Because let's be honest, NBC is looking at that money too, because there's a lot of money they will lose if the Olympics doesn't move forward, bro. What's your thoughts?
I think exactly what you just brought up, Frank. It's becoming a bit of a money grab. And unfortunately, we live in a world where sometimes economics overrides, what would normally be our train of thought or how we'd handle something. Personally, I think, I'd be on the side of what Talent said about at least trying to give ourselves an opportunity to still be here and preserve the ability to do this over the long term versus the short term, and just being able to put something out so that the people at large can have something to be entertained by. Look, we're gonna find entertainment no matter what. So if we're gonna have entertainment, let's at least have the best that we could possibly have and have all the great players in place and healthy to do it. So I think we, if they decide to cancel it, I'm not mad. It's not going to, affect me one way or the other.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But let's not overlook the fact that NBC stands to lose almost $700-800 million worldwide off of this too. So they're gonna move forward with the Olympics regardless.
But here's the thing, because Rodney, you would have a point, but the problem is the rising, the fact that it's not under control where the Olympics are being held. It's not so much that we're opening up. If it was over here, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The fact of the numbers are rampant and not in control of where the Olympics are being held at. That's like saying, oh, well, people swim. Yeah, but not with the sharks, nigga.
Great point.
Everybody's swimming, but not there. So the point is, like, where they're going, where they're being held, that's the problem. It's not that the world ain't trying to open back up and we getting control of it. If it wasn't in Tokyo and dealing with Japan, I think we wouldn't be talking this way.
Yeah, I agree with that part too. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it still has to be decided. We'll see what happens. There's another big story I wanted to talk about. Again, one of these stories I don't find a lot of people talking about. And of course, I like to dig in and jump in those stories hot, feet first. Showtime Network and pay-per-view networks, they had tons of outages during the fight. Meanwhile, we were all concentrating on the fight. The network was having a very hard time broadcasting the fight because they didn't expect so many people to tune in and watch, which leads me to the possibility of, I think we might see a rematch of this fight one way or another, whether we want to or not. Showtime was unable to keep up with all the people who requested to see the fight. Huge problem for them, huge problem for the fight. It looks like they're going to have a part two. Talent, are you surprised?
Yeah, that they couldn't keep up. Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to be Showtime. First of all, you got to change your name if you can't let somebody see Showtime. The name of the place is Showtime. Like, so it's time for the show. And we can't see it. You can't accommodate. First of all, that got to make the people who purse that is upset. It's like me renting a venue and you tell me the venue can hold 1,000 people and shut me down at 800 people. It's like, I thought I could get 1,000 there. I based my budget and my numbers off of what I could make. And now you're telling me I can't make that money.
Mm.
That's not good.
Right.
And this is one of the most major networks we have.
So let me ask Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I was looking at this yesterday. They said, the article I read said the numbers were down. It didn't say why they were down, and maybe that's why they were down, because they were having these outages. But they were saying that the buys were down. Like, people didn't buy this fight like they thought they would. But it's a win for Floyd, who got, guaranteed $10 million. They say Logan Paul got a guaranteed $250,000 plus 10% of the purse. Floyd is walking out 50% of the purse. It's still a great day for them. And I did an interview yesterday. He was like, why would I fight a real fighter when I can fight this dude and make more money? So is this going to happen, a rematch? I doubt it if you get a rematch. I don't think Floyd wants to be in a room with that, in a ring with that big old guy again. But you're going to see something like this coming down the pipe, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that too. Amir, what's your thoughts?
It's so funny. I said this. The interesting thing about the whole event to me was the fact that it was like watching a car wreck. Everybody tuned in, and you knew for a fact that you shouldn't have been watching it, but you couldn't turn away because you just felt like, I got to watch this car wreck. But to that point, I think to what you guys are saying in terms of everybody having a situation where people were or were not able to see the actual, show, I don't think it deserves a rematch. I think it served its purpose. Paul Logan, or Logan Paul, or however you say the young man's name, he got a little more notoriety. Mayweather is who he is. And we just got to look to see whatever the next, situation they put together, because going forward, as Rodney just said, I think we're going to see a lot more of this.
All right, let me bring in Fig. Fig decided he can join the show. So, Fig, what's your thoughts on this conversation?
Man, I don't know, man. I always take things with a grain of salt, man. I got the side eye when they talking about, it didn't do the numbers that they said it was going to do and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It just seems fishy to me. I don't really trust it. You know, people didn't like Floyd in the beginning. You know what I mean? Never really liked him. They didn't like the fact that he decided to do his own thing, make his own money and stuff like that, and not go through the promoters. So I'm not really sure, man. I smell something fishy here, and I really don't like it because it seemed very popular to me. You know what I mean? Logan Paul already has his fans. Floyd has his fans and haters, and I can't imagine that didn't produce a lot of viewers, if you will. Doesn't make even the event itself was filled. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't. It smelled fishy to me. Doesn't make sense.
After looking at the numbers and everything else, no matter how we look at it, this is one thing that's going to be a fact. There's going to be another fight for this way. There's going to be another fight. It's going to be another person. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you slice it, they're going to fight again. So if they fight again, then maybe Showtime or maybe HBO might even end up eventually picking it up because it's more numbers it seems like Showtime can handle. Next thing I want to bring up, which is something that's really crazy. We talk about baseball jokingly and everything else. We have some great stuff with that and everything else. But let me say this.
Hold on, Mr. Frank. What do you mean gonna fight again? You said you mean Floyd and Logan Paul gonna fight again?
Yes, they're gonna fight again. They're gonna fight again. They're gonna have a rematch. The numbers state that. The numbers, what Showtime was saying, the numbers are stating that the viewership that they had, they're gonna fight again. That's almost inevitable.
Where you get that from? Though you just making it up?
No, I'm not. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I wish I was making it up. It seems so stupid. I wish I was making it up.
Look at Negro's face.
But Frank, you know what? I don't think it deserves another shot only because, in all fairness, he ran out of gas after the third round. And
he did.
If it was a real fight, obviously Mayweather would have more than annihilated the young man. But I'm just saying, I get it.
Let me stop you and say one thing. What you're saying, you're right. But here's the thing: when you don't have to go through the boxing commission, and you don't have to pay those people that kind of money, and you don't have to pay for the rights and all that other stuff, and they make more profit, and then Showtime is reporting that they have outages on their website, outages on their channel, outages on people downloading it. Pay-per-view couldn't keep up with the numbers, and it was so many numbers. They're going to have another fight again because they made more money. You got to remember, they got a split of the purse from a pay-per-view, and they got a split of the money that also came in for the amount of viewership they're watching. So they got paid the amount of money that they were guaranteed, and on the numbers of how much people are going to tune in. Hell yeah, they're going to fight again.
But then you understand, remember what I said about my conspiracy is that this is equivalent to what we've been complaining about the NBA manufacturing these super teams to cheat their way to a chip. That's all Paul is doing with Mayweather. It's like we know damn well, you know how many fights he would have to rank himself in number 1 or 2 to get that fight in real life if it was a commission fight. But here's the thing, what Frank's saying is true. We're making more money without the commission.
Right. And let's not even take the fact. I don't know if you guys saw this clip. Floyd Mayweather did an uppercut, knocked dude out, grabbed him, and held him up. So he's consciousness. And I was like, this is ridiculous. When I saw that clip,
you know what's funny is that I don't think it can be sanctioned because this dude, they not even in the same weight class. You know what I mean? This dude is almost 50 pounds more. So if they had to go through, the commission, it would never be sanctioned because the dude is too big.
Yeah. But let's move on because we can. I'm telling you, we can. With all the craziness about boxing, and we all have had some stories about boxing where we look at this thing as being one of the most fixed sports events. We could go on and on and on because we could. I don't want to do that. I want to move on. Next thing I want to talk about is the New York Yankees, man. They're in the news probably for something that they don't want to be in the news for. And I'm starting with you, Talent, is because the baseball came down with a very hard couple of rules. We talked about this last week about the rules with pitching and putting substances on the baseball. Ever since they did that, Garrett Cole's velocity on the baseball has dropped. And then a player by the name of Josh Donaldson, he called out Garrett Cole specifically saying, see, him and a couple of other players are the reason why baseball pitchers are so good because they're putting substances on the ball. We have another whistleblower. He's putting out, he's throwing some stuff out on the Yankees specifically. I don't know if baseball is going to get around this curve or not. I don't know. But Talent, you tell me what you think about this.
I heard about this, Frank. This is I'm appalled. I want these guys to play genuinely and be as good as they are because they're just good. I don't like when they do a little trickery stuff and again cheating. You know what I mean? And I heard it's ass juice is what they're putting on the ball. It's disgusting. You got to watch these plays. If you ever see them when they fixing their uniform and stuff, their hand, they watch their hand. They're putting their ass juice on the ball. So when that ball's coming 90 miles an hour, the batter gets a whiff of that, and just that fast, right? Just that fast.
Talent is crazy.
I think that I hate when what's wrong with us that we can't just be good. We can't just train and be good. I go back to like Rocky, man. Like, he pulling the boulders and he just putting the work in, man, and being good. We're in a society where I call this microwave days.
Yeah.
Nobody want to put in the work no more. We want to press 2 minutes on the microwave and eat a full meal. We don't want to shuck no corn. We don't want to clean no greens, pull no guts out, clean the chicken. We want to hit 2 minutes and eat a full meal. This is a disgrace to baseball, man. You're throwing a ball, for God's sake. If you're not good enough to throw a ball the way it's meant to be, like, you're just not good enough. I don't like it.
Amir, what's your thoughts, bro?
Talent, again, is so on point with this one. The sad thing for me, especially when it comes to this, though, is baseball already has such a stigma to it unless you are a true baseball fan. And there are very few people who are true baseball fans. So for the most part, we all get excited in the fall when it's playoff time and so forth and so on. But, regular, just tune into baseball, very few of us do that. Even if you go to the game, you can't wait to get drunk so that you could just talk smack to the people in the section. You don't even really be paying attention to the game unless one exciting thing happens. So I think it is a shame that they're not keeping the game as honest and as good as it could and should be. So it's a shame, but hopefully again, players will get back to being the best that they could possibly be on their own merit.
Rodney Perry, do you agree with Amir? Because honestly, I don't think baseball's ever been on the up and up. I think they've always put stuff in the baseball since the inception of the game. I don't know, Rodney, what's your thoughts?
Well, let's examine Talent's comments first, okay? Start with the fact that Amir said that he said out loud. I absolutely agree with that. First of all, Talent started out with ass juice. We go from ass juice to Rocky, a person that don't even exist. How the hell? We got to get back to the old school when Rocky was out there doing his thing. Rocky, it's not your turn. And then we went to the microwave. The microwave. Okay, that was a good one. And then we come out of the microwave. What's this other thing you said at the end? Greens.
You got to clean the greens, baby.
What do idiots have to do with baseball? Let me tell you, if you're not cheating, you ain't trying to win.
Wow.
I'm going to remember Rodney Perry said that whenever the Patriots come up. Believe me.
Apply that to marriage.
I will bring
Rodney.
I'll bring it up. Yo, Fig, what you think?
The thing is that Talent is absolutely right. We're in a world where everybody wants everything instant, and there's no slow creation to it. And we have to inform Rodney Perry that there was a human being, a boxer by the name of Rocky.
He wasn't talking about that dude.
The thing is, listen, how you know? He didn't specify. Anyway, the thing is that everybody wants things instant. If you got to cheat your way to win, my question is, are you really winning? Like, nobody can't tell me that the championship that LeBron James won in Cleveland was way more satisfactory than the ones he won in Miami or the one last year in Los Angeles, because it just seemed to be like an organic win seems to be more rewarding than if you cheat your way to the win. It just seems so.
Right. What the hell LeBron got to do with cheating?
I'm saying an organic win instead of instant. When you put your team together, when you grab pieces from here to there and try and instant get a win. Had he stayed in Cleveland and won his team, then it would have been better. Never mind. Go ahead. You're a LeBron fan and he's on vacation. Why don't you go with him?
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep the conversation.
You can't imply that he cheated and then expect nobody not to say nothing.
Yeah. But we're gonna come back to that. Let's get back to that. I got to first talk about obviously the basketball game last night. I want to jump into the NBA, but not on the LeBron cheating scandal. I want to talk about what should have been basically an ass whooping that shouldn't have happened. I want to talk about that first because the Brooklyn Nets put it on the Milwaukee Bucks in the way I've never seen. Listen, I watched basketball as long as I can remember. I love basketball. I don't think I've ever seen anybody lose by 50. You know what I mean? Close to. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Whoa. First of all, it wasn't 50.
49.
No.
Yeah, they were. Well, they didn't lose the game by 49, but they.
Right. But you've seen this before, Frank.
I've never seen nobody get down by 49. Yes,
you did.
Who?
How do you forget? You're a Boston dude.
No, that was 39.
Remember? Yeah, and this ended up being 39. This was the same ass whooping y'all gave the Lakers.
I think that was 39. But, I was in high school. I don't remember that like that.
No, it was 39, just like this was 39. But here's the reason I remember, because I had a joke as soon as it happened. The next time I hit the stage, I said, when you down with 39, because Phil Jackson had the nerve to call a timeout. I said, what do you tell a Negro it's down 39 in the timeout? Anybody see where the X's are? We got to get the fuck. This reminded me of that destruction that Boston put on the Lakers. I was really happy because at that time, I had money on Boston. Last night's game was so embarrassing. All I could think of, because let's face it, Frank, you guys really believe this was Milwaukee's year. If this didn't put the ultimate doubt in your minds, I don't know what did.
Okay, Amir, I'm going to throw the ball to you. I'm going to pass it off to you, and I'm going to say this. I don't remember anybody getting beat by 49. I remember the Celtics game, but this seemed worse to me. It seemed like they could have gone down by 60. Honestly, Brooklyn let up in the fourth quarter. They could have got down by 60. What's your thoughts on this, Amir?
Again, the one thing that I think that people are not paying attention to, you either have teams that are clicking on all cylinders, or you have teams that are struggling. When you look at the Brooklyn Nets and what they managed to accomplish yesterday, because I went and I watched the game and then I looked at the highlights. They're hitting from everywhere. They're hitting outside shots. They're hitting inside shots. They're making layups. And to me, it looked like the Bucks just were afraid. The fact that, like I said, y'all got 2 7-footers who are afraid, including Giannis, to go inside and punish these dudes, then what are y'all doing? Stop shooting jump shots. I said this all along. I don't mind cats knocking down jumpers if it's going to be in the flow of the game. But if you're just going to totally depend on that and act as though that is what is going to win you a championship or win you the game, then you're in trouble. Because you have to have a combination of all of those things. The only reason why the Nets don't have to do it is because they have 2 of the ultimate scorers in the game. 3 if you count Harden, but definitely 2 of the ultimate scorers in the game who do it effortlessly. So that's why it looks like it's so easy for them. The Bucks do not have that. What they have to do is they got to attack these dudes and they got to punish them inside and then work outside. And if they don't come up with that soon enough, and if the coaching staff doesn't come up with that, not only are they in trouble, but they're going to get swept.
Yeah. Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
This is the thing, man. There's a way to beat a team that's better than you. And I think we can all agree that the Nets are better. It's a better overall team. And so the Bucks, to have any chance, are going to have to slow the game down if they can. They need to slow down, bang it, like Amir said, bang it inside, and hopefully get to the free throw line and not make the game longer, but to just chip away at them, at their confidence and even start a fight. I will start a fight or something too if I was them, because you need to get in their head some kind of way. And other than that, oh yeah, you going home.
Fig, get that.
Bang it inside. That's the way I like that. That's the way you want to do it. You bang it right inside.
What
You know,
the hell is going on?
Milwaukee is clearly right. Milwaukee is not playing to their strengths. They have the bigger team, and they're playing right into the Nets' hands. And I'll tell you something else. The talking heads have to apologize to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant because they said if they don't have James Harden, they don't have enough to win. They're not going to beat Milwaukee. Well, they beat the hell out of Milwaukee. They beaten Milwaukee like a drum. And somehow the talking heads forgot how lethal Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant is. And then they have a lot of other players who are playing out of their mind. And these guys are just unstoppable. Inside, outside, mid-range, three-pointers, at the rim. These are the best guys to ever do it. And I don't care whether all your team is healthy or they wasn't. You're not beating the Nets.
All right, let me throw this out there. Because Talent said it, and he said, Frank, you should remember this. And I'm going to ask you guys this. When the Celtics did that to the Lakers, little people fail to realize as the Celtics lost that series. You know what I mean? People might think, if you might hear about, oh, that was great and everything else. So I'm going to throw it out to you, Talent. I'm going to ask you rather quickly. Do you think that the same thing that happened to the Celtics in the Lakers series, when you get so beat so bad, it could stir something inside of you where you ain't going out like that? Or is the series over with you? Talent, what you think?
It's hard, man. It sounds easier than it is. I think it's very hard. I think the same way people build up positive energy by beating somebody who they thought they couldn't beat, I think your energy also gets depleted by getting wiped out by somebody so bad. So I don't think Milwaukee has what it takes. They don't have the cylinders, man. Like, again, I was jump starting the car, man, with an 8-cylinder with a 6-cylinder. It wouldn't work. And nobody understood that. They were like, I don't understand what's going on. Bruh, I'm like, you're jumping an 8-cylinder with a 6-cylinder. It's not enough power. I don't think they have enough cylinders to jumpstart to get back to where you're talking about right now. That's
okay.
Facts.
Another great analogy. Amir, being that you know basketball probably more intimately than a lot of us or everything else because of your brother and everything else. I only brought this up to say this. People on a professional level, it steers them in a different way when they get disrespected to such a degree. You know what I mean? Being that I know you traveled in those circles and everything else, I'm asking you, do you think the Bucks mentality can be, there's no way in hell we're going to be disrespected because it was very disrespectful. Forget about all the jokes and everything else. It was disrespectful that it would be marked in their careers for the rest of their lives. How do you think the Bucks are going to respond?
Well, to be honest with you, that really depends on how Giannis comes back out. We've been asking him for the last few years to, prove that he's that guy and he's made, those strides to move to the next level. So really the Bucks go as he goes. So if he comes out with determination, he comes out like he's pissed off about what, happened and how his team got embarrassed, then hopefully so goes the rest of his team. But the only way we can see that is obviously once this next game plays and we see what Giannis comes with, because the other guys only going to go as far as he really takes them. So we got to really see where his head is and where his heart is.
Right. Rodney Perry said it a few minutes ago. He said that they should start a fight or something like that. Rodney, I'm going to say this. I think you might be right. I think there will be a fight the next game. I think these dudes felt like they're just going to be disrespected. But do you think that it's to the level whereas they're going to either stick their head in the sand or, we're going to not only throw a fight, we're going to fight and win this game, and we're going to be extremely physical because y'all can't handle physicality. What do you think, Rodney?
Well, here goes. First of all, that's not the biggest margin of victory in the NBA history. There was a game Cleveland Cavaliers beat the 68, won by 68 points, 148-80. They beat Miami by 68 points. The Pacers beat the Thunder by 57 points.
Rodney, can we get to your opinion so you don't have to keep trying to correct me? Can you get to your opinion, please? Thank you.
I'm just throwing it out there, Frank. Also, I looked up this whole 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder theory, and that is some bull too.
Rodney wants to correct everybody today. Can we get to your opinion, Rodney?
My opinion is this. It's like it's a 7-game series for a reason, gentlemen. I mean, of course, we like to jump. Ooh, but at the end of the day, 39 points, 100 points is one game, so it's not over till it's over.
Okay, Fig, I will say this: when professional athletes get disrespected like this on national television in this era, it can't go down well. I think it's going to be something big that's going to happen. What's your thoughts, Fig?
Well, unfortunately, I have to go back to the first round between the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks, and Capella was talking trash. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna come into your home arena and we're gonna beat you, and what you gonna do about it?" And at the end of the day, if you don't have the talent, you're gonna lose, and it's as simple as that. And you can start a fight if you want to, but if you start a fight, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to play possibly the next game or the next 2 games, so you're going to lose those. So, I mean, I don't know why they put Tucker on Kevin Durant, because that is not working. Amir said, I think he said it best, you take your big dogs, you put Lopez and Giannis on the block where big men are supposed to be, and you try and slow the game down and win on the inside where you have an advantage. Because if you try and shoot the 3-point game, Kyrie Irving, Harris, and Kevin Durant is going to shoot them out of the gym the same way they did last night, and this series is going to go over in 4.
All right, Rodney, Talon, let me ask you this. Because the other series I watched, and I was more interested in that series, that was the Suns versus the Denver Nuggets. That was extremely exciting. That series seems to be, it had all the bells, whistles, and everything else. Chris Paul is in an excellent position right now. I'm loving what I'm seeing with Chris Paul. I'm loving what I'm seeing with Phoenix Suns and everything else. But do you think Phoenix is going to pull it out with Denver? What's your thoughts after you saw the Phoenix Denver game last night?
Yeah, I definitely would take Phoenix over Denver. I think Phoenix can get this done in about 5 games. So I got Phoenix in 5. I don't even think it's as competitive where they'll win more than 1 game. And I agree with you. I think Chris Paul is probably in the best position he has ever been in, championship drive-wise. All he needs, bro, I mean, I see him getting to the chip rally. He just needs 2 things, and he's in a championship, this year. He needs something to happen with Kawhi, and he needs something to happen with the Brooklyn Nets and Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns to get champions. It's not that far-fetched, though. With all the injuries, it's not that far-fetched.
No, it's not. I mean, what's your thoughts?
You know what? I mean, I got a chance to see that game as well. And, first of all, excellent game. I think it actually is still going to be a lot closer than we think, because to me, there's something about the way the Joker plays that game, and the other young man, some Michael Jr. or whoever
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. If he can, stay consistent, because that kid, when he catches fire and he's really in the flow of the game, he's a force to reckon with. And they really just need one other player to step up and kind of give them, that lift. So I think that the Phoenix Suns as a collective, obviously they're playing extremely well. You see what Booker's doing. Like you said, you see what Chris Paul is doing. The centers, is playing well. But I think that we have a really good series, a possibility of a really good series, if they could get Michael Porter Jr. and one other player to step up and help Joker. Because Joker's nothing to play with. That dude, as slow as he is and as seasoned as he seems to be, he takes the game at a pace that works for him. And he seems to figure out how to make it work for the rest of the team. So again, as he goes and as Michael Porter Jr. goes, I think that team goes. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not those guys make the adjustment and come back prepared.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
1 game, man. Calm down, gentlemen. 1 game. 1 game. There's a reason we play these games in 7-game series, man. They used to do a 5-game series, and they didn't like the way it felt. So 7 games, you get to learn a person, figure them out. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you get your ass whooped anyway, but it's not over after the first game.
All right, so let's just say this before I throw it to Fig. Let's just say this. It was a much better series. I thought. Fig, I'm going to throw it to you. I'm going to ask you. Chris Paul, exciting series. What's your thoughts on this?
I think what happened is over the course of this week or a couple of weeks, Chris Paul got a little healthy. That shoulder seemed to be feeling really good because He was knocking down some shots in the fourth quarter last night that I didn't expect him to be able to hit. And we know if Chris Paul is a healthy player, floor general, we know he can knock down shots, and he can be very dangerous. It just adds another weapon to Phoenix. And I think here's two things, and then I'm done. The one thing that I think is that confidence is very overrated in the NBA. The fact that the Phoenix Suns was able to get by the Lakers with LeBron James, who is considered to be the best basketball player in the world, or at least in the NBA today, the fact that they were able to get over that hurdle gave them a world of confidence. And when I watch Joker play, he is lethal, but he always looks like he's moving in slow motion. Every time I see him get the ball, I grab my remote like my TV slowed down or something, but he always gets this shot off.
Okay. All right, let me throw this one out there too, real fast too. Since we talk about the NBA, I saw a report last night. Talent, I'm gonna start with you. When Magic Johnson said what he said, I don't know if you guys got wind of this, but the Lakers are shopping Dennis Schroeder right now. The Lakers are on the hook for his thing and everything else. So there's no surprise there. But I'm gonna throw it out to you, Talent, because you'll be surprised at the two teams that they call, or calling supposedly. One of them's the Knicks. The other one's the Sixers. So if you are that team, if you're the Lakers, the Knicks or the Sixers?
Well, Knicks, of course. You got to be looking at the Sixers by right now being a heavier contender that you may face. You know what I mean? Is more likely for you to face the Sixers in the championship game if you return to the chip, as opposed to the Knicks. So you want to, people always want to ship their players off where they don't have to compete against them if they can help it. That's your worst nightmare. Oh yeah, I'm gonna send this guy across the street, then he gonna whoop my ass and he gonna go to the chip. You won't be able to sleep at night. You know what I mean? So I say the Knicks when it comes to that.
Okay, Amir, I'm gonna throw it to you because honestly, I don't think Dennis Schroeder lived up to his expectancy of his contract. Amir, I was very disappointed the way he performed as a Laker. I don't think he necessarily even fits on the Knicks. I think he fits better with any other team than the Knicks. The Knicks play all-out defense and offense. You know what I mean? So do you think the Knicks or the Sixers? Where would you think that Dennis Schroeder would land? Or at least which team do you think would accept that phone call between the Knicks and the Sixers? Which one do you think, Amir?
Well, you know what? I mean, obviously, again, being a New Yorker, we always look to, see our team getting an improvement and an upgrade. The Knicks need a point guard. Let's just keep it 1,000. Doesn't make a difference if it's a super great point guard or a point guard that is just relatively okay. Schroeder, for whatever reason, especially in this playoffs, just did not live up, like you said, to his billing. He didn't live up to the hype. I've seen him on other teams in the past, especially, in the league, and he seems to be one of those players who, he's up and down. He's got to question himself and figure out, what he wants to leave as a legacy as far as, being in this league and what people talk about or how they feel about him, whether, he likes it or not. Like I said, would love to see him on the Knicks, but I feel like the Sixers are probably a better situation for him just in terms of, like you said, the overall, stuff that they have going on over there. The Knicks, we may still be, a little bit of ways from, being a contender.
Rodney Perry, the Knicks got 7 free agents. Their team will look a lot different next year because they got 7 free agents who are not going to turn back and everything else. Do you think Dennis Schroeder, so the Knicks have a lot less to offer, do you think Dennis Schroeder fits more for the Knicks with the people they have signed versus the Sixers? What do you think he lands better, or which is the team that you think will take the call?
We're talking about a trade scenario, am I right?
Yeah, it has to be a trade because Dennis Schroeder is not a free agent. It has to be a trade.
So I mean, you gotta think who wants to give up somebody for Dennis Schroeder, and I think Seeley makes a great point. I mean, the Knicks need a guard and a real guard, and whether you like Schroeder or not, he's a real point guard. He's that guy, and he makes shots. He's clutch. He had a tough series, but not the whole series. It was only really a couple of games he had a tough game, and so I think he might end up in the Knicks jersey.
Okay, now I'm gonna throw it to you, Fig, and I'm gonna ask you. Not everybody fits with all teams. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can get on a team and it just doesn't necessarily fit. In my opinion, I think Schroeder fits better or would fit better with the way Philadelphia is playing versus the way the Knicks are playing? You know, you're a huge Knicks fan. What you think, Vic?
Here's the thing. What are we gonna do with Ben Simmons? That's the point guard for the Sixers. They giving up Ben Simmons for Dennis Schroeder? They got a lot of point guards. They got a lot of shooters over there in Philadelphia. Who they giving up for Schroeder? Doesn't make sense to me. And let me tell you something. Magic, I love him to death. Let me tell you something. One of my most favorite players in the NBA, Mr. Laker, the face of the Lakers, whether he owns a position or not. He spoke out of turn, and he lowered the value of Dennis Schroeder by saying all this negative stuff about him and that we really want to get rid of him. You know what that says? Now I can get him on the cheap. I can get him for a bargain. The Knicks have a lot of money and they have a lot of picks. Now, whether you want what they have on the roster or not, they still have a lot of money and they have draft picks. And I think that's what the Knicks need. We really need a point guard who can break down the defense, get in the paint, score, and possibly kick it out. That's the one thing that we didn't have in this playoff series against Atlanta.
All right, I'm going to move on. I got to move on to the next couple of things because in the NFL, the big hot news all day in the NFL is minicamp. Of course, it's a huge minicamp thing. Talent, I'm going to start with you. It's mandatory minicamp came in this morning. And surprise, surprise, everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to start out with talking about Deshaun Watson. And because of this, he was a no-show also. Aaron Rodgers was a no-show. He got taxed $50,000 today when he didn't show up this morning. So I don't know how long he's going to keep going getting hit with 50 grand when he can't show up. It's just ugly. I assume that sooner or later he will show up. But what's your thoughts on Deshaun Watson not showing up, Aaron Rodgers showing up? Talk to me. Tell me what you think, Talent.
Well, first of all, we got to ask ourselves how much is all those massages come to figure out the value of this money. From what I hear, they can't keep fining them. I think it's a big one-time fine. And then when you get to the league, the season, that's different. But right now, the mandatory minicamp thing. It's a one-time big fine that they're facing. I expected that from Deshaun. I 50-50 with Aaron Rodgers, but like you said, the biggest story to me right now is Deshaun. What are we going to see from him? What's going to happen? What's going to come of that? I think, that's the more suspense film than Aaron Rodgers. The only thing that makes Aaron Rodgers a big story, other than obviously that is Aaron Rodgers, is there's other players waiting to see what he's going to do.
Amir, the news just flashed on ESPN that Aaron Rodgers, if he misses all 3 days, he will be fined a total of $93,000. Yeah. Jordan Love just did a 2-minute drill, and the cameras were there, and they said he didn't even get past the 50-yard line with the first crack his first crack at the 2-minute drill with the offense, with the first line offense. He didn't even get past the 50-yard line, which only helps Aaron Rodgers. So, Amir, what's your thoughts?
Again, this is one of those situations that, for both players, it seems unfathomable because of, who they are and obviously what they mean to both of their teams. But the bigger picture is this, these guys have to go out there and they have to perform. They want to go out there and they want to perform with as many weapons and be in the best position possible. Look, if they do go into camp, either one of them, and let's just say for all intents purposes, they're trying to save, whatever money they can save, but they're not happy. We will see it immediately once the season starts. And I would hate to see any of these gentlemen tanking games or their teams, being in a bad position from the onslaught of the season because management didn't do what they could and what they should have done, which was honor both of these gentlemen's requests to be someplace else and to be in the best position possible so that they could play the game the right way, just as we mentioned earlier about baseball. Let these guys go. Let them play the game the way that they, perceive and want to play the game. It's silly to me to keep these guys, this way.
All right, Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think it has a point, but you also have value. And so you want to get maximum value for a guy, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. You want to get maximum value. You're going to lose the guy. You just want to maintain his value. And the minicamp is just a rule. I mean, you can't. NFL has rules, and one of the rules say you don't show the minicamp, we're gonna fine your ass. And they're definitely fining them. But at the end of the day, it's like the Naomi Osaka. They got it. They, I mean, Aaron Rodgers make $20-something million a year. What's his little 100,000? What y'all drinking? Get him whatever he wants. Look, I got 100,000.
First off, the first thing I want to address is the fact that we just gonna let Amir get away with the word of the day, unfathomable. Can you say that fast 3 times? Let me tell you something. The advertisers just add another 0 to their offer. Unfathomable? That just raised our stock, Frank. The thing is that Aaron Rodgers said plain and simple, it's either the GM dude or it's me. I ain't coming back. He said it very plain. And like Rodney said, Aaron Rodgers got plenty of money. Let's go to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson says, this guy, the owner, which I have a beef with, his neighbor sued me and brought all of these charges against me. And you think I'm going to play for this team? No. I'm not showing up. Find me whatever you want.
Great point. Can't even knock that. Here's another point, and I'm gonna start with you, Challen. And I think this is all coming together for a purpose and for a reason, but nobody's talking about this. Denver is out there having a QB competition with Teddy Bridgewater and Andrew Luck, and guess who Denver is supposed to be really keeping an eye on? You know what I mean? They're sitting. It's like they're sitting on the sidelines, ready to come in. Like, hey, I'm gonna come in, and everybody and their mother is picking right now that Denver's going to be the team that's going to swoop in and deal with the Green Bay and get Aaron Rodgers because Denver's not happy with their QB situation. They're not happy with Andrew oh my God, I forgot his name that fast. And they're not happy with Teddy Bridgewater or Andrew Luck. So they're not happy with either one of those guys. So what do you think, Talent? What's your thoughts?
I think everybody becomes, all those quarterbacks are sitting by like, it's going to be me. They like the Drew Frazier of the NFL.
Right.
Like,
wow.
Drew Frazier, me and Drew Frazier in the early days, he used to always be the second guy to get the call in case I didn't want to do a project. So they would call me and be like, yo, we got this Grand Poobah video, and it might take me a little long to get back. So they tell Drew, be ready for Saturday. I think you're going to get it. And then I call back like, yeah, I want it. That shit happened. That happened 4 or 5 times between me and Drew. Like, we laugh at it to this day. But that's a hell of a feeling. Like, it must be to be sitting back and everything look like it's finally lining up for you. Talking about Bridgewater, and it's like, I'm gonna show them what I got. I'm gonna finally get a chance to shine. And then poof, you lacing up in the locker room, and in walks Aaron Rodgers. You be like, hey, what you doing here?
That's classic.
What am I doing here? The better question is, where you about to go?
Ouch.
And you know what? He's probably absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Where are you about to go? Are your bags packed? Amir, are you paying attention to this? What's going on? Amir.
Yeah. Again, I think to your point, first of all, the fact that, they got the GM of all GMs over there in Denver with, if I'm not mistaken, it's John Elway.
Yep, John Elway.
Who's not going to want to, go over there and play for that guy? He's a Hall of Famer. He manages or seems to be able to bring quarterbacks in who have pedigree, who seem to know what they're doing. Obviously, being a former quarterback himself, he has that knowledge and that understanding. Green Bay again. The man doesn't want to be there. As Fig just, stated, the man plainly said that. It's one thing when you hear innuendo or, like you said, stuff is circling around in the air. But when a player himself says, hey, this is the situation, and we either deal with it or we don't deal with it, that leaves, a lot for people to have to sit there and think about, like, wait a minute, the man said it. So I can't see how this is all going to play out. Whatever the outcome is, though, I just know we're going to have a hell of a season, so I can't wait.
No, I can't wait either. Rodney Craig, what's your thoughts?
Man, don't nobody know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. I mean, and How about this? Aaron Rodgers is old. Do he really want to go to cold ass Denver? I don't know, man. I mean, I think Brady made a great move going down to Florida, but man, all quarterbacks need to stay out of that weather. I would say that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be okay.
Okay. Fig, what's your thoughts?
I'm trying to figure out, is Denver really colder than the frozen tundra of Green Bay?
I mean, if you leave in Green Bay, you're not going to fucking Denver either. It's not colder, but it's not warm at all.
Yeah.
Hey, man. If you leave the frozen tundra of Green Bay, you can go to Denver and play in shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of the winter. Do you know how cold Green Bay is? I'll tell you this. I think Aaron Rodgers said what he said. You drafted his replacement. You insulted the man who's been known to hold a grudge and has plenty of money. He has go F yourself money is what Aaron Rodgers has. He can leave the game right now and he won't miss a beat. He said, get rid of the GM or I'm out of here. The same GM that disrespected him. And they said, Aaron, we're not going to do that. So Aaron said, I'm not showing up. And this is why we got the videos and the pictures of him on vacation with his beautiful fiance enjoying lovely weather.
You know, I'll say this, that the $93,000 isn't even putting a fraction of a dent in his money with the amount of money he got. That's not even his bank interest. That's probably his lunch money he gives to his kids. You know what I mean? What's 93 grand to somebody who's made, what, $300-something million with endorsements and his NFL contract? Like, he's made a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. All right, y'all. We got to get
more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. We got to get ready to go up out of here. Talent, get everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, follow your boy, Talent, the comedian on IG. I'm on that joint every day live with my man Amir. Come check us out. We talking about important stuff. On Twitter, @It's Just Comedy, man. See you. Boom. Box seats.
Amir, thank you for sitting in. And thank you. I appreciate you taking the time and coming in. Obviously, you didn't have to because Fig ended up showing up. But thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. That's a great thing.
But he's better dressed than Fig, so we appreciate it.
So with that being said, can you please tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro?
Yes, sir. First of all, again, man, it's always great to be on here with you gentlemen. So thank y'all. I'm A-Rock Sealy on Instagram, AROCKSEALY on the gram. And I'm just plain old Amir Sealy on Facebook. I don't know what my Twitter handle is, so don't give me the line to y'all. But you can find me on all of them, pretty much the same name. I love you, gentlemen. Thank y'all.
Fig, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Monday through Friday, on the box seats, 1 to 2 p.m. Best damn sports show on TV. I'll be here when I can make it. All social media platforms at Comedian Fig.
Rodney Perry.
The website, RodneyPerry.com. All social media, Rodney Perry Live. And I'm glad Fig was able to get out of the hairdresser chair quick enough to make it.
All right, y'all. That's the show. The name of the show is called Box Seats. The name of the channel is called Humor Mill. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. The name of the show, again, is Box Seats. You don't want to miss it. Take care. Peace.